It's Chainsaw Tuesday! This week's chapter is actually kind of insane as we're going back to hell, boys and girls, and also... Did someone say the return of the throat goat? Alright, chapter 225 picks up from 224 as we see the aftermath of the legs devil being eaten. Pigs become happy little tubes, birds fall from power lines, and humans are no longer able to recreate the Abbey Road album art. All very clearly positive things. Yoru quickly surmises what Denji has done as she has witnessed him scarfing down even more, yelling, "Denji, stop eating!" Which is actually the best meme template this week, not gonna lie. Seriously, just Photoshop anything into his mouth, change the text to some variation of, "Denji, stop eating!" Insert meme here, and then get some easy upvotes on Reddit from people who suspiciously don't seem to act or talk like human beings. Or you can join my Discord, where you will get human interaction. Choice is yours. So, as Yoru braces for the worst does not come to pass, not in the way she had initially expected. So Yoru, as she is mega pissed, pretty much for, that's just this entire arc, right? But she resolves herself to stop Denji from further ruining her world. Little bits and details here are simply that Yoru is, well, still underestimating Denji even now, which is quite hard to believe. She says that it's not as if Denji could erase every concept or something important to this world, to which I would say, how do you know? What if these devil concepts that little D obtained are actually important? I mean, after all, she knew this confrontation would eventually come. And at the very least, what we see next is somewhat effective in slowing her down some. Maybe that was the intention, who knows? So as Denji chomps down, devil after the next, she jumps down from a railing, sees a motorcycle, and activates another one of Fujimoto's fetishes, toxic women riding bikes. So we get this awesome piece of art of Yoru holding on for dear life as we get the return of the chainsaw bike. This was awesome. I loved this. Something we've not seen since the Falling Devil arc. And that's a very nice callback as well, because it shows that after that moment, Asa and Yoru had claimed that bike as their own. Aww. Well, not that specific bike, but you know what I mean. My headcanon is because they were both just so impressed by him, they couldn't but totes claim it because they freaking can't even and love Denji. Whatever any of that meant. Denji eats a lot of devils and messes a lot of things up in quick succession as he starts to barf out devils due to the now missing concepts causing Yoru to crash out. So Yoru, now falling next to Din Din, does the only thing that I didn't expect but also probably should have expected. Yoru, and I'm not even kidding here, there's evidence on the screen to show that I'm not making any of this up. Yoru shoves her fist down Denji's throat to get him to barf up and force out the devils he's eaten. All the while, Yoru can't speak because she doesn't have teeth. This was amazing. I loved every second of it just because it was stupid, yet something Yoru would absolutely do. This is also a callback to the aging arc, where Yoshida and Yoru either fisted his throat, or in this case of Yoru, climbed through it. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, Din Din probably would welcome Asa fisting his throat. Is that a fetish? I don't know. Do people like that happening to them? The more and more I think about this, honestly, I don't understand it. So now in a pile bile, practically holding on to one another and spent, Denji kicks Yoru into a wall, and the fight kind of does a little bit of a reset here. Yet again, face to face, Yoru asks Denji what he did with her friends. And Denji's response is pretty cool. He's just like, "They weren't in my barf?" And you see this scowl of anger on Yoru's face. Easily, the best part of this fight is how Yoru is able to contort her faces into ugly wrinkles. As Denji makes a run for it, she thinks that she's got his number. A tale as old as time, and blasts the pile of devils only to be fooled as the man has decided to flee. And I have to ask you, who's watching right now, guys and gals, has there truly ever been a fight in Chainsaw Man that is basically just Denji toying with the devil, let alone the main antagonists of Chainsaw Man Part 2. It's just amazing to me how Yoru at every point does not have Denji's number. Damn, doesn't even have the area code, city, state, or the right hemisphere, maybe even solar system. She just cannot read this guy, and Denji seems to be able to at least make it look like he knows everything she is about to do. God, are they the best couple ever? Well, the best toxic couple. I don't know. So as Yoru contorts her face, she screams at him to fight her and stop acting like a coward, holding one of my new favorite poses of all time, especially when Yoru does it. But honestly, I loved it when she screamed, "My more!" That was good. Even better is this woman has to genuinely plead and beg Denji. She is, my friends, she's lost in the woods. There's, smoke signals need to go up. That is how lost she is. She says to Denji that he can't run away because he promised he would mess up her entire world by eating devil pawns, which she then holds out and pleads, "Look, I have a pawn right here. Fight me. Now fight me, please." I mean, this is just such a great chemistry they have because it's like it's negative chemistry that circles back around to just plain old chemistry. I just can't believe in a million years that this fight we've been waiting years for would just be a series of high-stakes pranks on the War Devil, while also exposing how down bad symbolically, of course, this woman is for Chainsaw Man. It's beautiful. So Denji rejects Yoru's pleas because those devils couldn't fill him up. Huh? So he is going to go to hell to feast on the real devils down there and really mess things up for Yoru. All the while he's standing on a door that opens and he falls into. Simply giving the piece at Yoru as if to taunt her to follow him. And of course she does. It seems Yoru at this point would follow Denji anywhere if it meant stroking her ego and possibly winning against him. And what? I don't know. So she comes along calling him a fool, but I'm not so sure that one's the case, at least not yet. And we end the chapter in the depths of hell, a place we've not been to since the Falling Devil arc. And good God, Fujimoto, woo, you didn't need to do that one. Okay. Here's the deal. It's 50-50 whether I think this is a good thing. You've got a couple outcomes to be had here, because Denji could have just ended Yoru's power and changed the playing field to Denji. Because Yoru has claimed the planet Earth as hers, right? This is where most of her power has been. And while not very good at using it against Denji, she has been quite successful in destroying the planet and using many aspects of it as weapons. But when you take the playing field to hell, suddenly things change dramatically. This is the site of the many battles Yoru and Chainsaw Man have had, and all of them have seen the loss of Yoru and the victory of Chainsaw Man. And let's also remember, Pochita is called the hero of hell. This is now Denji's domain, where he is at his most powerful, at least that, you would think. And thus he can call upon maybe all of his friends to make Yoru kneel and, well, calm the hell down and return Asa's body to the Mitaka. It's a brilliant plan that, at first at least, I don't think could really backfire. However, I'll still say that this doesn't mean Yoru and other devils won't be supercharged either, but I did find that suspicious as hell that most of her power comes from the concepts on Earth. None of those we've seen are from hell. So even then, it's really hard to see, at the very least, that Yoru didn't just lose all of her power after foolishly following Denji into hell. That being said, Yoru was quite urgent in trying to stop him. Maybe there is something Yoru knows that Denji doesn't and was calling him a fool because, that's probably what he is. And now they both must team up to fight the vast darkness of hell. But big theory time. That's right, baby, C-Tactics. He's back with his favorite part of Chainsaw Man videos, returning characters? Is this where we see Powie return? If Power, as we knew her, has died and went to hell to be reincarnated, then this is likely to be one of Denji's allies, because Power did tell Denji to come and find her. And on top of that, this is probably where we'll find the Control Devil. The control aspect would make sense because Nayuta in the timeline died like 2 weeks ago. Maybe like a couple hours ago. I don't even know at this point. Remember, Yoru suggested that Denji's friends could be with Lil D before we knew who Lil D actually was, and they were not with Lil D. So if they're not with Lil D, then where are they really? Well, that is the birth of all devils. In hell! On top of that, if you would kindly recall that the sounds every devil hears before being reborn is the sound of a chainsaw. So, is this here to suggest that Chainsaw Man, the hero of hell, has returned home? Is the ruler of the king of the queens of hell, so to speak, back? And honestly, there are so many little clues throughout Chainsaw Man that I really want to now reread the series soon just to see what each little detail there is to glean off of this. Maybe I'll compile them for a video next week. Or maybe not, because as I've promised every week when I have an idea of a new video, I'm really bipolar these days, and it is very hard to get me to do anything YouTube related as of late. And I'm not gonna lie, I think this arc may be one of the best since The Falling Devil, and could rival it or maybe overcome it by the end. I absolutely love the chemistry that Denji and Yoru have because it's polar opposites reacting to one another and attracting one another. You have Yoru, who is trying to take everything way too seriously and is seen not as a threat by Denji, really, but as a kind of a joke or someone that can easily be manipulated, or, well, better yet, Yoru is quite gullible in that sense, which I didn't expect, which I did not expect, I should say, but I didn't expect for sure. There's a bit of a nuance in that statement, as with everything I say. But I'm also seeing a lot of fans finally like Chainsaw Man Part 2, which also tells me that, once again, shonen fans do not know how to appreciate a good story. If they get action, they think it's peak. If they don't, then it's boring, it's garbage, it's falling off, yada yada. Buzzwords galore! And it's fascinating to me to see how people react and just don't understand their own patterns. Oh, a tale is always time. So, let's put my Discord community to the test. Let's see what they had coming out of this chapter. I think the biggest takeaway we've seen is that many are now anticipating the same thing that I am. Blood and control is obviously being hinted at here, as I am not alone in that estimation. And typically, if you got a lot of people coming to the same conclusions, then that usually means the author is intentionally invoking those feelings for a reason. Doesn't mean that they will return, but what it does mean is that Fujimoto is wanting us to start thinking about them again. So it's not out of the realm we see them back in the fold, but this is what I ask you guys. If we do see them return, what would be their roles in this fight? My guess is that the Blood Devil will be subservient to her Lord Chainsaw, but Control may be a little different. However, while she may be her own entity, I could also see her being on Pochita and Denji's side, Denji's especially, because after all, he literally killed her with a chainsaw and ate her. Not even using the powers of Chainsaw Man, technically. He just cannibalized that woman straight up. And we do know this new form of Chainsaw Man is just Denji in a Pochita hybrid, so it is Denji. Also, the fact Nayuta was loyal to Denji and actually obtained forms of human emotion and empathy too, maybe this means that the power of controlling blood and control, that Denji will force Yoru to abdicate the body she stole back to Asa, because blood and control, I mean, you control the, listen, I don't know, I'm really winging this one. Another wrinkle is that maybe what October here is suggesting can be expanded upon, which, if Denji didn't have some grand plan here, but would rather risk the depths of hell than have Yoru continue to tantrum on Earth. In the depths of hell, they are both on their own and must work together, not against one another, to survive. This could in turn help them successfully go through couples therapy, to then come out the other side better respecting one another. Denji can see Yoru as a valuable and valiant ally, and someone he misunderstood. And the same could go for Yoru. She is the most childish of them all, but when made to face reality, I could see her being forced to accept that reality. That in turn could help her understand that War and Chainsaw are better together than apart. Not exactly turning Yoru into a good girl, but more or less turning her into a very evil ally who is slowly made to change her ways. Think of, like, Power in Part 1. She, I don't know, domesticated or something. Cat metaphors, symbolism. Yoru like cats? Does she like those? I forget what Yoru likes. I know we know Asa does. Anyways, yeah, Yoru will probably still be very racist, very narcissistic, but is still an ally and generally adored for who she is. Just like Power. Now, that's just me spitballing, though. I'm about as intelligent as Denji is hungry. Wait a second. Did I just compliment myself? Now to address the more glaring part of this comment. Could Denji figure out a way to force Yoru and Asa to separate? Now, remember, I also made this theory months back, but I just don't think Asa can die, but maybe could somehow be saved by separating the two entities. And of course, what better way to do that than to go to hell, discover something much more evil and much more dangerous that nobody understands, then all you gotta do is separate or fuse the two together even more, and this could effectively get rid of Yoru and Asa's body, nullify it at the very least. That being said, the more I think about it, I think I would really grow to miss Yoru if she went away. Not because I'm a total simp for Yoru trying to lure you into a false sense of security by telling you otherwise. No, that's not my goal here. But I think after this arc, Yoru is starting to feel like a character that feels as glued to the series as Denji, Asa, Makima, or Reze. These four in particular are to me kind of like the most synonymous, and Yoru hadn't until this arc for me felt that way. So I don't know. But I think for sure, these theories suggest we will likely get many big revelations and answers to at least some of these questions, probably in the most humorous and or depressing ways possible. After all, this arc has been nothing but a fun ride thus far. Maybe it's time to bring a depressive and dramatic edge back to balance out the humor, give us something different, bit of a tone shift. Me thinks that's almost a guarantee, the more I think about it. Also, we gotta give it up for October, who has some of the best observations in both of my Chainsaw Man and Don Discord threads every week. They point out that the whole toothless argument is basically just an old couple bitterly fighting, and even compares Yoru pleading to Denji as appealing to that dog in him. Wouldn't in the least put it past Fujimoto to do this on purpose. After all, Denji's spirit animal is a dog who is literally inside of him. Also, Salty Lewis and October point out that the whole fight me portion of things may be a grab at attention from Yoru, because as October says, she's not even trying to kill him. So what is her goal really? Perhaps Lewis is right, and to further expand more, maybe Yoru is getting so obvious that she simply can't hide her feelings at some point. Think of it this way. What if Yoru has been pulling back from her fullest power after all, or just going full bore? Either way, either decision, right, effectively lead to the same outcome, which is her getting exasperated and just giving up, giving in, and just bawling her eyes out and being like, damn it, I freaking love you, man. I think that's how the confession may go. It'll probably go something even crazier than that, to be honest, but the reason none of this was effective may just be because there was never an intent beyond getting Denji to yield. That part's obvious, but the deeper symbolism behind it could simply be that this is a game of high-speed chicken of love. The first to blink loses, and thus the loser goes to the victor, and as she recently stated, it's not about winning, never really was. It's about claiming someone as their lover in the simplest of ways, hence Yoru's power. She just wants Denji. That's kind of it. That would make sense when she refused to initially turn Denji into a weapon right before the nuclear weapons were invented. So who knows? Lily here takes off the mask, metaphorically speaking, with this detail. Hell is a sea, or rather there is a sea in hell, which means that either I am in hell, or more realistically that this could be the Sea Devil, or I could be the Sea Devil. After all, being lost at sea is actually one of the most terrifying things to happen to a human being. Don't believe me? Go watch those videos of ships slicing through 100-foot tall waves full of cheap plastic Amazon garbage. Not the waves, the ship. Honestly, I don't know which one's more scary the more I think about it. 2-bit billionaires selling us plastics don't even work after 2 weeks? Or water hitting you and killing you immediately. Drowning. Violently. Dying. Also, we got very positive ratings for Chainsaw Man this week. Basically, all but two or so people saw this as good or peak. Honestly, I thought this chapter was pretty peak for my taste, but that has nothing to do with Yoru. Before you click off, please check out my first video reacting to Fire Punch, which is a Tatsuki Fujimoto manga with 8 volumes, if you didn't know. It is shockingly depraved, and I think you guys and gals would at least appreciate my reaction to Chapter 1. Please check it out, and thank you. No bi-weekly devil this week. Yes! We'll be here next Tuesday to talk more about Chainsaw Man. Check out my Don channel or watch more of my Chainsaw Man content here. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.